Hello guys, and welcome to a new WARNO video today by me, Vulcan. In this one I have for you an overview of the CLKA, or Commando Legerkorpsachtergebied, a new free division available in the latest update. Let's jump on in. We're going to go through all of the units and we'll put together a quick deck. So starting here with the DAF, the YA4400. It is a decent truck with 1000 supply, 90 km/h speed. Can't really go wrong for 40.6 on a card. Then we have the bigger one, which is 2000 supply, 60 points, 3 on a card. We have the YPR leader with the 50 cal. It's okay. It has smoke as well, which is actually pretty handy. You got the 2 front, 2 side armor, 75 km/h speed. And then there's the Jeep, which you get 3 on a card for 80 points, which is actually pretty nice. 60 km/h off-road speed, not as fast as something like an Iltis, but still 100 km/h on-road speed. And then there is the YP408, which is a very interesting Dutch transport vehicle with 50 cal and smoke. There's also the option to bring in the supply depot. Moving on to the infantry tab, we start with the M40 recoilless, which can be brought in with the Jeep there. The M40 recoilless is okay, 17 pen, 1400 meter range. It can shoot at infantry as well. Generally want to use them maybe in pairs, or like even more than that, 45 points a piece. Stack them up, they'll be okay. For 15 points you can also bring a Dragon 1, which is a bit lackluster. 60% accuracy though. Ito, 20 penetration, 2625 meter range, 60% accuracy. That's more like it. 80 points for a decent HDGM squad. Then we have the mag machine gun, which is not too great. And then we have the military police. So these guys, they have 3 Uzis and a machine gun with a super bazooka. They are military police, so they get the military police trait. They can also be brought in with a military police vehicle, which is very cool. I love that it has the military police logo there with the sirens and stuff going on. Very cool. Then we have the standard boys, 4-man squad, military police with Uzis. Can also be brought in with that Jeep. And then we've got a pretty thick squad here, 12 strength, 11 Uzis with the mag at close range. These could really do a lot of damage. They can either be brought in with a big truck, or I don't know how they'll fit in there, but the Volkswagen. I love these little cars that have been added to the game. Very cool. All right, then we have the Beveiliging. These guys have 6 Uzis. I think these are like security forces. So they've got security trait, which gives them the extra optics when they remain still. We have 6 Uzis, 1 L4A4 machine gun, which is not too great, and super bazooka. We got the standard squad for them, which gets 2 Uzis, 6 Garans, and an L4A4. So yeah, interesting loadout for sure. Got the mobile version, which has 2 Uzis, 5 Fowls, 2 Sorfalos, and a mag. It's a triple MG squad, so nothing really to scoff at for 10 points, or sorry, not for 10 points, for 45 points, 10 strength squad. It's okay. And then you've got the Natras. These guys are a 9-man squad, 8 Fowls, and the L4A4 with the law. And these are 35-point reservist troops, which can be made pretty effective if you give them military police. I have used these quite a lot in the other divisions in the past, the other Dutch division. They can be brought in with the YP408 as well, and the YPR765, so got a decent choice of transports. Then we got some engineers. So these guys are reservist again with 7 Uzis, the mag, and the satchel charge. They do get shock trait though, but they are militia. So militia is, I guess, kind of a new trait. I've been talking about adding it for ages, but Militia units take longer to aim and reload compared to regular units, which at close range is going to be a problem. So unfortunately, it does make the effectiveness of this unit drop quite a bit. But we do next up have tank Jaegers. These guys are pretty decent with a dual Carl Gustav M2. So two 16 penetration launchers with 750 meter range and 55% accuracy. Yeah, this is a solid squad. Say if you mix these in with your like standard reservist infantry and security forces, these could really do a lot of damage. And then we got the YP408 as a transport for those as well, which I think generally speaking, like a 25.50 cal vehicle with that much speed and a little bit of armor is quite nice to have. And then we've got the Panzer Infantry. These guys are a 4-man squad with a dragon and smoke grenade. I do like it when the leaders have smoke grenades. I think it's probably one of the most important things for them, just to allow them to get out of harm's way. But these can be brought in with the YPR as well. And then we got the Panzer Infantry with the Law, so 7-man squad, 6 fouls, 1 mag, and the M72 can be brought in with the YPR for 35 points. So 35 points plus 25 points, you're having a pretty cheap, cost-efficient unit, I would say. But better than that, you can get the guys with the Carl Gustav M2 as well, so a 7-point squad, again in the YPR. You're paying an extra 5 points, it's well worth it for the launcher. And then finally, there's the Dragon variant, which gets the standard Dragon 1. Dragon 1 just lacks range, 1,250 meter range, 50% accuracy, not much penetration. It's good for killing light vehicles, but honestly, it's just going to get your squad killed at a distance most of the time. Then we've got the Jeep with the recoilless on it. It does have good stealth, so you could use these in theory to ambush enemy vehicles, but they will die very quickly, especially if they miss. And then you've got your standard infantry here, so 4 Uzis, 6 fouls, M72, and then smoke. A 10 strength leader squad for 65 points with smoke is actually pretty nice. And they can be brought in with the YP408 as well. We got the standard infantry with the Law, so 9-man squad, 7 fouls, 2 mags Law. Again, YP408, you're going to have a lot of those potentially hanging about. And then there's the infantry squads with the Carl Gustavs as well, which again, 9-man squad, really good. Finally, there's Commando squads. So we've got the Commando leader, which is 6 Uzis, 2 L4A4s, M72 Law, and smoke grenade. Really solid leader, honestly. And the fact they are special forces is nice because they take less suppression in combat. They have the shock trait, they have security, so they can even, scout for themselves a little bit. And then you've got the standard commandos, which have the 8 fouls, the foul with the scope, and then 2 mags. The nice thing about the foul with the scope is it has extra suppression. So it helps you win those engagements with infantry that you'd otherwise lose because of suppression. Suppression's like a big deal in this game because whoever deals more suppression quicker generally wins the engagement, because as you become more suppressed, like you lose cohesion, your unit like reloads slower, it fires slower, and all that stuff, and it really becomes like a snowball effect. So the fact you can like immediately do 35 suppression with the foul is actually really nice. So special forces, shock trait, security trait, really solid infantry. Moving on to the artillery tab, we have 107mm mortars. They can be brought in with the 50 cal armoured vehicle. 105s, which we've seen before. 10,000 meter range, 1.88 damage. It's not ideal. These guys are a lot better though. The 155mm. This thing is actually pretty good. 24,000 meter range, 3.41 damage. And then we got the M110, which is a classic. Again, solid artillery with 4.91 damage at 24,000 meter range. And also the ability to bring in the M270 MRS cluster, which is fantastic for breaking down enemy tank convoys. Moving on to tanks, we have first of all the Jeep with the tow on it. This isn't the I-tow, it's just a standard tow with 16 penetration. It's okay for 40 points because it does have good stealth. Then we have the Poit, which gets the ITO and a 50 cal, 70 points. Unfortunately, mediocre stealth. And then we got the YPR 765 Pratt with the TOW 2, which has 25 penetration, 2,625 meter range, 65% accuracy. Definitely the best option of the lot, although this one, being more mobile, could also still make it quite useful. And then we have the Centurion. So 10 in front armor, 17 penetration, 1,925 meter range with 45% accuracy. For 75 points, it's okay. Probably want to up it if you're going to use it, so that you get a little bit extra accuracy there. And then we have the Leopard 4. This is a command tank with 9 front armor, 18 penetration at 2,100 meter range. The penetration is okay. The range is, of course, something you're going to have to manage against heavier tanks. But otherwise, the Leopard does come with pretty high base accuracy. And the standard variant for 100 points, you probably want to upbet this so you get more out of it. But otherwise, a pretty solid tank. Finally, you do get some Leopard 2A4Bs, so can't really complain. These are decent tanks. 16 front armor is not as good as the C variant, but 21 penetration, 2,275 meter range, 60% motion accuracy is probably one of the best parts about the Leopards. Moving on to the Recon tab, we got an Alouette. So 30-point Recon helicopter, and there's the BO-105, which actually gets a minigun on the side. I don't know how effective this or useful that minigun's going to be, but it's cool. Really is cool. Then there's the YP-408 with the recon systems on it. So, yep, very cool. Exceptional optic, 30-point unit with a 50 cal. We like that. Then there's the M113 C&V. Although this one is not equipped with an autocannon, unfortunately. It has a 50 cal and the mag there. So yeah, this is like a military police transport, which is really cool. I like the color of it. I really do. Then we have the Kenners, 4-man recon squad. Can be brought in with a standard Jeep, a recon Jeep with good optics, or the Alouette. And then we have the Panzer Kenners, which is actually a pretty solid recon squad, 8-man with a Carl Gustav M2. We like this squad. Also can be brought in with an M113 with good optics itself, so that's pretty handy. And then finally we have the M113 CMV, which has that 25mm autocannon I was talking about was missing on the other M113. Yeah, very nice. Moving on to the AA tab, we have the Maxon with the Quad 50. There's the Bofors, again, engaging enemy helicopters at 2,825 meter range and aircraft at 3,000 meters. So she's some serious range on that version of the Bofors. Then there's the Stinger. So Stinger team, 2,650 meter range with 55% accuracy. Comes in with the Laro, which is a really fast transport. 90 kilometers per hour off-road speed is absolutely nutty. So yeah, pretty decent Stinger team. There's the OH-58 CS as well, which is nice to have for countering enemy helicopters. And then you've got the iHawk in there as well, 2 cards of those, which is really strong, 5,650 meter, 55% accurate AA. Generally want to upbet these to get the most out of them, and then just make sure you move them every time they fire. Moving on to the heli tab, we have the BO-105 with the Hot 1. The Hot 1, it travels kind of slowly, but it does do 22 pen, 2,625 meter range. It's okay. And then we have the AH-1F, which is the rocket boy with 4 Hydra rocket pods for 130 points. These only have like 6 health now, so bear that in mind. But I don't know if that was changed in this patch, but I'm pretty sure that was changed before, but worth noting so that you don't lose it one shot to like an OSA or something. Finally, the air tab. We've got ourselves the Freedom Fighters. So Freedom Fighter with 2 454 kilogram bombs. They're reasonably sized bombs for 175 points, especially considering you can also use this aircraft for killing helicopters with the twin 20mm and the AIM-9. And there's the napalm variant, which probably isn't that useful with only 2 bombs. It doesn't have that much spread. So whatever's in the flames will likely be able to get out of the flames in good time. And then there's the cluster variant, which comes with 2 227 kilogram rock eyes, but only 10 penetration. 2's not going to do that much damage to something like a heavy tank, which is when you would probably want to use an aircraft like this. There is the Phantom 2, and the Phantom 2 is actually stronger than it was before because the Sparrow got buffed, so 8,475 meter range now on the Sparrow. So this is a pretty solid air-to-air platform for 185 points. We've got the Weasel with the Shrikes, which is the anti-radiation missiles. There's the F-16 with the 6 AIM-9 loadout. So fully air-to-air. Good against helicopters, might struggle at a distance against enemy aircraft. And then we got the F-16 cluster, which comes with 8 Rockeye 2s, which is a much, much nicer loadout and much more reliable loadout. Yeah, for sure. 30% ECM, 1,100 km/h speed, 8 clusters. We like that. Way better than this one. Obviously, you're paying for it, you know, so it's an extra 90 points. But yeah, definitely worth it if you can make sure you can secure the kills onto those super heavy tanks, which are going to be a threat to both this division and the other Belgian division. So let's have a look at building a quick deck. We'll start off here. We'll go for probably just 1 card of each, throw in the supply, bring up the Jeep. In the infantry tab, we're basically going to bring everything that has a Carl Gustav, and then also the commandos here. So we'll do commando leader, both sets of commandos, probably the infantry here in the YP408. Both of those cards, thank you very much. We'll probably bring in these, maybe in the YPR 765s, although they are a smaller squad, so not ideal, but they do get the IFV infantry trait, which is pretty useful. So IFV infantry is really nice because it means that the infantry unit takes less suppression when in combat near an enemy infantry fighting vehicle, which is actually, yeah, super, super handy in some situations. Tank Jaegers, probably pretty useful to have. Really cheap combination there. Definitely want some military police maybe, and then some reservist infantry. I might bring in these military police with the extra Uzis there. Itos could probably be a good idea as well, just to kind of finish off things here. Yeah, so there is a world where I'd probably switch out maybe one of these squads of infantry for some reservists. But I think we're okay for now. I also might up-bet all of these just to make them a bit more effective. Yeah, okay, that'll do. And then artillery tab, definitely take both the clusters, take the M110s, and then probably some mortars if I could fit them in. I reckon you could definitely go for these guns instead of the M110s if you were happy to micro them around the place. Moving into the tank tab though, definitely taking the leopards of course, might up-bet the leopards even, just so they're extra effective. Although only having 2 of them instead of 4 is a bit rough. What I probably should do instead is just make sure that I bring in a leader tank and then we can up-bet the leopard 4s. Probably a better shout, and then maybe put the Prats in there for the really strong TOW2. In the recon tab, CMV for sure. We'll try out the BO-105 minigun. We'll bring in the exceptional optics, and then the Panzer Bekenners, I think, is the way to go with the M13. And then we'll do 2 cards of Eyehawks, I bet. OH-58. Stinger. Kind of interesting to try the Bofors instead of a Stinger maybe. But let's move on. We'll definitely bring up an AH-1F Hog. And then in the air tab, we're looking at cluster, seed, air-to-air. I don't know if I want a freedom fighter. It might just be another F-16 here. And then we've got an extra 5 points to spend. Not really many options. We can go like BO-105 maybe here. And then I can choose something else in another tab. Maybe the Bofors. Maybe Centurions. Maybe smoke mortars. I think Bofors I want to try here. I'm just going to upbed them and we'll see if they can do a decent amount of work for me. Yeah, okay, cool. That'll do. CLKA. There it is. Right, let's have a look at that as a whole. Overall, I think both of the new divisions are pretty fun. This one in particular is actually pretty strong. It's got leopards, it's got decent artillery, it's got decent infantry actually. You've got good enough aircraft, you've got good enough helicopters, you've got decent AA. Like, yeah, this division is pretty strong. And I think it fits the meta quite nicely right now. So yeah, I think CLKA really strong. And then the div mob, maybe not as strong, but yeah, I think CLKA definitely decent. Well, that's it. Hopefully you guys have enjoyed it. Thank you very much for watching, and I'll see you in the next video. Goodbye.